there's a really great story that you talk about when you say you were an unemployed actor and your agent calls you up and says, Bryan, do you remember somebody by the name of Vince Gilligan? And you don't. And Vince, explain to me why you didn't remember Vince Gilligan, but Vince Gilligan remembered you.
Well, you meet a lot of people. I started working strictly as an actor when I was 25 years old. And so I've done a lot of different jobs, and in every single, you can imagine, every job that you go to throughout 1 year, you're meeting a whole new set of people every single time. And it was a very lucky set of circumstances that I got to be on X-Files in many ways. I had just finished writing and directing my own movie that I made for my wife. And I, by a shoestring, we just drew money borrowed from friends, and we were just trying to put it together just so we can create, just so we can have fun and be together and make a movie about, and I'm very proud of that little movie. It's called Last Chance, and you might get a chance to see it on Netflix or something like that, but we did it for zero budget, but it's a very empowering movie. It's about a woman who feels buffeted by her current set of circumstances and how a change of perception opens up her world. A very small step, but for her it just changes her life, and she then sees hope. And I start, whenever I write anything, it starts with a theme, and that theme was, it's better to have a dream than to achieve a dream. So even if her dream is not achievable, she's got one. And that's what gets her up in the morning. That's what puts a smile on her face and puts a drive in her day. Anyway, so we did this little movie out in the desert, and I kept pushing it. I had someone to drop out, and I didn't have any money, so I couldn't make them stay. We kept losing crew and actors, and then I would get a job, and oh my gosh, I got a job selling Nissans. You know, in a commercial. Not selling Nissans at a car lot, but on a commercial, and that paid me a chunk of money, and that went right into the movie, and so anyway, I couldn't delay it anymore. I knew that if I delayed it more, it might fall apart, so we just have to trust that we can get this done. 3 weeks, we shot the movie in 3 weeks. And I was back in Los Angeles for 3 days, starting to edit. And I get a call from my agent who said, I know you're just back, but there's a role on X-Files if you want. I said, yeah, I was broke. We didn't have any money. I have a little daughter, and we were just like, ooh, just a real roll of the dice. And I said, yeah, let me do that. Well, it just so happens, if you see this movie, Last Chance, I look the same in Last Chance as I do in this X-Files episode, where I have this nasty Fu Manchu. By the way, I want to apologize for my appearance. I am growing an ugly beard thing here, so. But I had this nasty Fu Manchu, you know, with a little thing here. And I realized any mustache that dips below the corners of the mouth, it gets nasty. Mothers grab the children's by the hand and like, stay away from him. And I had this nasty thing, and the mutton chops down to here. It was really, so I looked the part of this thing. So anyway, I go and I audition, I get that job, I meet Vince Gilligan. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. I do the role, and it was great. And then at night I'm going back and I'm editing, and from my standpoint, that was it. I had this one gig, paid me some money, and now I can pay my rent and go back to work. 8 years later, this is after Malcolm in the Middle and the whole thing, Malcolm stops and he says, I'd like to meet with you. I was like, I don't know if I remember him. And we started talking about this beautiful, beautiful story that he wanted to tell, and that was Breaking Bad.
But what did he remember about you that he has his agent, that he has your agent give you a call? Obviously something resonated with him at the time.
Well, this, to give you an indication of the subtlety and the nuance of Vince Gilligan, is that my character in this of X-Files was this ne'er-do-well, horrible, despicable, ugly man. He was a tough, irascible, unlikable person. Now, the circumstances were that my character had some kind of bug in his head, and if it could explode if the car wasn't traveling in a westerly direction for 80 miles an hour, something like that, my head would explode. And that would hurt. So, what would normally happen under most circumstances is that a writer would write that character to be sympathetic, so that when David Duchovny gets in the car and is driving me, they would think, yeah, David Duchovny saved that nice man. That's nice, yeah, he's worth saving. But he wrote me as a despicable, horrible person, which then put the moral dilemma in his central character to ask the question, do I save this man simply because he's a human being? Wow, that's really it, isn't it? Do we judge about who we should save or not attempt to save because of what they've accomplished or their demeanor or comportment? Or is it because we are fellow human beings and we need to reach out to our own kind to save them? And so it was huge. Well, he felt that audiences needed to sympathize with this character despite his actions, despite his ugliness. And so when it came about to write Breaking Bad, he thought, there's this character, and he's from Virginia, so this is my impression of Vince Gilligan. So, well, he's the guy, I know him, he's an actor, Bryan Cranston, and I think he's really good. I think we should give him a shot at this thing. And the studio and the network were saying, the silly guy from Malcolm in the Middle, you want as Walter White? Yeah, well, I think he's an actor. So that's how it came about. And I met with, and I read this script, and it was unbelievable. It really was incredible.